Hello class 10, welcome to a new video, and here we are doing Abraham Lincoln part 3. All of you take out page number 65. We are doing the second second part, but this is actually video number 3 that we will be doing. It was only too clear that Lincoln would not for long be president. So he will not be president for long of a united country, a country which was all together. Immediately on his election, he had to face the gravest decision, one of the most vital, important decisions ever made by any American president. The dissatisfied southern states at once prepared to leave the Union. The northern states and the southern states were together, and the southern state, they decided that they're going to break free from this union and they're going to be a separate entity, to sever all connection with their fellow countrymen in the north, to set up in the south a confederacy of slave states, so that they could form a new confederacy of their slave state, because their agenda, as I would recapitulate, the south really wanted so that they could form a separate confederacy, and the south, they were supporting the slave states, they were supporting slavery, whereas north, they were not supporting slavery. So there was a lot of difference between the south and the north. And when Lincoln became the president, Lincoln also did not support the slavery system. He tried to abolish. The south people couldn't take it, and they decided that they're going to tear apart from the union, and they're going to form their own separate confederacy. It was for Lincoln to decide whether they were to be allowed to do this, or whether the union must be safeguarded by civil war, whether he has to fight a war between both of them, or they could be easily allowed to do that. There is no doubt that the south seceded and afterwards fought for one main object: to keep, and if necessary extend, the slave system which had made them so prosperous. According to them, the slave system had made them prosperous. So there was no doubt that they would do anything in order to carry forward their goal. They also held passionately that they had a right to break away from the union if they wished, and they said that if they really want and they don't want to continue to be a part of the union, they can really move out of that place if they wished. On these issues, they were firm, they were very strong in these issues, and nobody could change them. As soon as the Republican victory in the elections was clear, they prepared to fight. So they started to fight. The North were against any extension of slavery. The North did not want any slavery to be extended. No system of slavery should extend. And they were also determined that the union should not be broken for any cause whatever. And the North did not want the union to be broken also. Although the civil war which now broke out between North and South was concerned with the issue of slavery, another great question had first to be decided. So although the civil war, it was between North and the South, and it mainly dealt with the issue of slavery. But another question that arose was that, had any of the states of the Union the right to secede or form a separate state? Can any part of the Union can form a separate confederacy? Is it possible? Are they allowed to do so? That was also a question. The South said yes. The North said an emphatic no. So the North said that it's not possible for any part of the Union to form anything separate. They are united. That is the name given to them, the United States, all together. They don't have separate, political things for separate part. They all are together. That is the reason why they are named as the United States. So the North said no, but the South said yes. It was this question above all others, even above that of slavery. It was a question, it was all above, even it was above the question of slavery, that President Lincoln was determined to face, and he has to decide whether he would take up the civil war that is to be fought in order to gain their right, or they can, means, can the South be given the right to do so? Can they do so? Can it come under the rule? From the beginning, Lincoln refused to compromise. He did not want to compromise. He treated the southern states as rebels, as the major enemy because of their, interest in slavery. And he would hear no talk. He would hear no talk of coming to terms. Until and unless they decide to abolish, he wouldn't come into terms. The United States of America must be saved. So the United States of America, they should be saved and must become the great nation that Washington and other founders intended, and it should become a great nation that other founders also wanted. For this ideal, Lincoln, hating war as he did, accepted the challenge of a civil war in which for 4 years men hated and killed their fellow countrymen. And there was a civil war which was for 4 years, from 1861 to 1865, where so many people were killed. Okay? On the question of slavery, Lincoln moved slowly and patiently. He was very different kind of a hero from famous John Brown, who was filled with such anger against the slave owners that he raided the slave states and freed many slaves and was hanged for it in 1859. Lincoln was very different from John Brown. John Brown was impulsive, but Lincoln, he was much, he was patient, he moved slowly. There was a lot of slave owners who were, what did John Brown do? He rescued a lot of slave owners. He made them, he raided the slave state and he freed a lot of slave owners, which was unlawful and for which he was hanged. But Lincoln was very different. He wouldn't do anything which is lawless, which is against the law, because he hated lawlessness. He did not easily see red. He had little sympathy for John Brown. He had very little sympathy for John Brown. But in spite of his patience, he felt very keenly the cruelties of slavery. When in 1862, he thought the moment was right, he issued a proclamation declaring that all slaves in the states which were rebelling against the Union should be henceforth and forever be free. So then he took a grievous decision that he couldn't support John Brown as well because he was not lawful, and he decided that there should be no cruelty and the slavery system should be abolished. He issued an proclamation that all slaves of all the states, they are free, and which were the rebelling against the Union should be henceforth and forever be free. So they should henceforth be forever free. In my next video, I shall continue with the same chapter, that is Abraham Lincoln part 4. Thank you so much.